Rahul Gandhi claimed had reportedly voted 22 times in 10 different booths because her photograph was there for 10 different names in 10 different photo ID cards. That person, that Brazilian model, has been identified. Her name is Larissa. She took to social media, and that's the picture you're seeing on the middle of your screen. She took to social media and she said she's never even visited India, leave alone voting in elections in Haryana. So how did her photograph end up in these 10 or 20 voter ID cards? Now, we did a couple of ground checks of these women whose voter ID cards supposedly had the picture of this Brazilian model. At least two of those women who actually voted in a place called Rai, it's close to Sonipat in Haryana, they have said that yes, it's possible that there was a photograph mismatch, a photograph discrepancy in their photo ID card, in their voter ID card, but they are not fake voters. They are genuine voters. They went, they voted, they have the voter slip to prove that as well. So this whole allegation that this was vote chori, these were inflated voters, fake voters, as has been alleged by Mr. Gandhi, that doesn't quite seem to be adding up. Yes, it's entirely possible that there was a photograph mismatch. So the question then is, will these charges of vote chori, sarkar chori, as Mr. Gandhi put it in his press conference yesterday, will it stand the test of fact check?
She votes 22 times in Haryana. And she votes in 10 different booths in Haryana. And she's got multiple names. Somebody fed this lady into the electoral list.
Pra tentar não passar meu número e tal, o cara achou meu Instagram, me chamou no Instagram. Agora uma outra pessoa que não tem nada a ver com o assunto, uma amiga minha de outra cidade, me manda uma foto, vou colocar aqui pra vocês, aqui embaixo pra vocês verem. Aqui. Vocês não vão acreditar. Ô, gente.
So she's basically saying she's not even visited India. She's saying, what madness is this? Somebody's trying to make me part of a scam. Rahul Gandhi claimed initially that this Brazilian model, her photo, was used 22 times across 10 different polling booths in Haryana. Now, this lady in question, this Brazilian model, her name is Larissa. She took to her Instagram page, and that's the video you saw a moment ago. She put out that video and she said that this is an old picture of hers and that she has no idea why this is being circulated in a poll-related issue in India. She's not visited India, let alone, voting in an election in Haryana. Rahul Gandhi claimed, as extrapolation, that 1 out of 8 voters, 25 lakh voters in the state of Haryana, were fake as per the Haryana electoral list, the fake electoral list prepared by the Election Commission. One of those voters, one of those 22 times that this voter supposedly voted, one of them happens to be this lady called Pinky Kaushik in this place called Rai near Sonipat. We spoke to her, I'll play that out in a moment. But basically she says her voter ID had a photo discrepancy, had a photo mismatch, and it's possible that it was that of the Brazilian model. But she says that she was the one who cast her vote and she did this herself, and she has the voter slip to prove that. And that long-standing issue of a photo ID mismatch, photo mismatch in her ID card, voter ID card, that is a long-standing issue that's been there for a number of years now. She's sort of written to the Election Commission, but this issue has not been solved. But that is not the same thing as suggesting that somebody else voted in her place. She claims that she is the one who voted and she has the voter slip to prove it. Rahul also said that there was a theft of 25 lakh votes in Haryana. So he said 1 out of every 8 votes, or at least 8 voters in that voter list, the electoral rolls prepared by the Election Commission, was a fake voter. Another voter that he again said was fake, her name is Munish Devi. Again, we caught up with her today and she said, again, she was the one who cast her own vote and that there was no vote chori or fake votes. Now, let me play that out. We sent our reporter Anvit to this place called Rai. It's close to Sonipat. This is what CNN News 18 found. We spoke to these two individuals who Rahul Gandhi claimed were fake voters. This is what they said.
That's a stock photograph, and she is one of 25 lakh such records.
We we are right now in Sonipat in Machola village, and this is one Aadhaar card based on which the owner of this Aadhaar card, Pinky, in 2019 her voter ID, she got her voter ID made. Her picture was different. It was not her picture on that voter ID, and since then when she got her details corrected, she never received back her corrected voter ID. Pinky जी, आपका जब ये वोटर आईडी आया था 2019 में, तो ये इस पे फोटो आपका नहीं था?
सर हमारा नहीं था, किसी और साधारण महिला का था।
उनको आप जानते नहीं, उनसे कोई वास्ता
नहीं? सर हम उनको नहीं जानते, लेकिन जो अभी ये ब्राजील मॉडल का लग के आ रहा है वो ये भी नहीं था।
वो ये नहीं था
ना सर।
तो 19 में आपने वोटर आईडी बनवाया जिसपे आपका फोटो नहीं था, फिर आपने उसको सही होने के लिए
दिया था, फोटो भी दी थी, आधार कार्ड भी दिया था, सब कुछ सेम था, बस एक फोटो चेंज हुई थी।
अच्छा।
जो उसके बाद वो हमारा दोबारा कभी बन के ही नहीं आया।
ठीक है। और उसमें जन्म तिथि और एड्रेस वगैरह सब
सेम था, सब कुछ सेम था।
तो उसके बाद से फिर आप वोट कैसे कर रही हैं?
सर हम आधार कार्ड से डालते हैं, जो सरकार की तरफ से स्लिप आती है वो लेके जाते हैं, उसी से हमारा वोट डालते हैं।
सुनील जी, आप बता रहे हैं कि ये जो फोटो है, ये जो फोटो इलेक्टोरल रोल में बताई जा रही है मुनेश जी की, ये वोटर आईडी में ये फोटो नहीं थी?
नहीं, ये वोटर आईडी में नहीं थी। वोटर आईडी में जो फोटो है ये है।
अच्छा। वोटर आईडी में जो फोटो है वो ये है, और ये सही फोटो है?
हाँ, ये बिल्कुल सही।
इसमें भी नाम मुनीश देवी है और हस्बैंड का नाम नरेंद्र सिंह है, और इसमें उम्र दिखाई है इनकी 23 साल।
हाँ जी।
तो विच मीन्स कि ये काफ़ी पहले बना है ये वोटर आईडी?
हाँ, ये कम से कम इसको हो गए होंगे 25 साल के करीब।
25 साल?
हाँ
तो
जी।
25 साल से इनकी वोटर आईडी पे जो फोटो है वो सही फोटो है?
बिल्कुल सही।
तो जो ये इलेक्टोरल रोल पे फोटो बताई जा रही है, जिसमें ये बता रहे हैं कि किसी मॉडल की फोटो है, इसका आप लोगों को कोई जानकारी?
नहीं, इसकी हमें कोई जानकारी नहीं हुई। अब की बार जैसे हमने विधानसभा इलेक्शन में भी वोट डाल ली और लोकसभा में भी डाल ली, तो हम अपने आईडी प्रूफ लेके चले गए और वहाँ हमने दिखाया, पूरा परिवार साथ में गया, हम अपनी वोट डाल के आगे। हमारे को वहाँ भी किसी ने ये नहीं बताया कि आपके फ़ोटो की जगह किसी और का फ़ोटो है। और हमने जब ये आईडी बनवाई थी तब से सेम है, हमने इसमें कोई फेरबदल नहीं किया है।
Okay, I want to go for a straight face-off on this. Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of the BJP, joining us. Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress, joining us. Mahima Singh, you heard those two case studies. These two individuals who Rahul Gandhi had alleged were one of those 22 times where this Brazilian model supposedly voted. Both of them have said that it was they who went and voted, and they have the voter slips to prove that.
Jai Hind. In fact, Zaka, I was listening to that testimony of Pinky Kaushik's very carefully. And at the end, if you pay attention, what she says is that she sent her photo ID, her Epic ID for rectification, which, by the way, she says did not have this photograph which we have displayed. It had some other photograph. And that Epic ID was never sent back. She has not been issued an Epic ID since then. The Epic ID we are displaying is another Epic ID, which of course there's an issue of duplicacies. We are talking about 25 lakh fake Epic IDs here. It's not a small number. It forms 12% of total adult suffrage in Haryana. So
no,
you
but
see,
ma'am, the
when you
claim
are
that
listening
Mr.
to
Gandhi made yesterday is that this Brazilian model voted 22 times in 10 different booths. She herself took to social media and said she's never even visited India. Forget about voting in Haryana. You are isolating a fragment of his statement. You please play his statement in full. And he goes on and says that this photograph has been used. It is probably a stock photograph. And it has been used and it has been misused across 10 booths 22 times at least. That's what he goes on saying. So surmises and conjectures are all right, Zaka. But the fact of the matter is that there are at least 66 voters registered at one BJP leader's house. What about that? Of 223 photos in one booth are duplicate. There are plenty, lakhs and lakhs of blurred photographs. There is a person who's very well-to-do. Just for example, one person who's been registered on a house number 0. What about all of these questions? But ma'am, none of that turned out to be fake voters. There's a world of a difference between saying there's a problem with the electoral rolls and suggesting that the problem with the electoral rolls enables fake voters to come and vote. It's not. It's apples and oranges.
Again, Zaka, you're trying to establish a case based on surmises and conjectures. We have presented hard evidence. You go and talk to two people and you come back to comment on 25 lakh aberrations.
It's 2 out of the 22 people that your leader claimed a Brazilian model went and voted in lieu of.
Doesn't Bihar
Zaka?
CNN talking about stock photographs being used? That is
Okay.
an instance of stock photographs
So,
being used.
Sanju Verma, in this case, this lady, Pinky Kaushik, she says there was a problem of a photo mismatch in her voter ID card, in her Epic card. She had tried to rectify it. She sent it to the Election Commission, but she never got the correct photo printed. And she says she only shows the Aadhaar card and goes and votes. Now, my understanding is that if you are a registered voter, wherever you are, you have to show your voter ID card. Without that, you're not even let into the booth. And if there is a wrong photograph on your voter ID card, that makes it even more curious a case as to how Election Commission officials let her into the booth in the first place.
You know, Zaka, yours is a very important show. First and foremost, I want to tell the audience of your show that this entire fake narrative of vote chori by Rahul Gandhi proves only one thing. Rahul Gandhi is a sore loser. Rahul Gandhi is a bad workman who blames his tools. Now that Rahul Gandhi can smell defeat, see the writing on the wall, he knows that Congress is in for a rude shock come 14th November. What does he do? One day before phase 1 of Bihar polls, he comes up with a fake वोट चोरी नैरेटिव पर्टेनिंग टू हरियाणा जहां पर इलेक्शन के नतीजे और इलेक्शन एक साल पहले हो चुकी है. But I will address some key points because the Congress pravakta spoke for about 3 minutes. I could not understand a zilch of what she was trying to convey. Look at this. The draft electoral roll of Haryana was published on the 2nd of August 2024. Final electoral roll was shared with all political parties and their representatives by the Election Commission on 27th August 2024. The voting for Haryana was held on 5th October 2024, which means, effectively speaking, Zaka, there was a 64-day window for Congress darbaris, for Rahul Gandhi and his retainers to verify the electoral roll and file any objection if they deemed fit.
No, but ma'am, how are they supposed to know that a Brazilian model's photo has been used in 22 electoral rolls? How will they know that?
I'm coming to that, Zaka. This is not about a Brazilian model. Let's be very honest. Congress was wiped out in Maharashtra. Rahul Gandhi said Maharashtra elections were fabricated. 22 lakh voters were deleted in Telangana. The BJP lost, the Congress won. I have not seen Rahul Gandhi say that the Telangana elections were fabricated, Zaka. We lost Himachal by only 37,000 votes overall. And guess what? 59,000 voters were deleted ahead of Himachal elections. The BJP lost, the Congress won. You did not see Sanju Verma coming on your show. And
okay, I get that. You are saying that this is, excuses for an impending defeat. But please answer my, please answer my question. Ma'am, please answer my question. How is the Election Commission allowing, in this case, Pinky Kaushik or Munshi Devi to go and vote if the photo on their Epic card does not match their face? It's like me saying I go to the airport and the CISF looks at my Aadhaar card and the photo on my Aadhaar card and my face don't match. They won't let me in.
Zaka, let me make a very important point with no offense to you. I want to address the bigger issue at hand. Rahul Gandhi gave the example of Minta Devi. No hydrogen bomb. It turned out to be a Fuski bomb. Rahul Gandhi said fake votes given by a man called Aditya Srivastav turned out to be a Fuski bomb. Rahul Gandhi gave the example of 80 people residing in a man called Jairam Reddy's house in Karnataka, claiming Jairam Reddy is a BJP agent. He said his entire family for the longest time has voted for Congress. Time fifth bomb nikla wo bhi. Then Gandhi gave the example of Gurkirat Singh Dang. He also said that his name has been fraudulently used. Now the Brazilian model has named and shamed Rahul Gandhi, calling out his hypocrisy. My limited point is this. If there are aberrations, go and file under section 20, 21, 24B of the Representation of People's Act. Let your returning officers know that there has been an aberration or a breach. Let the ERO know that there's been an aberration. Let the Chief Election Commissioner know that there's been an aberration. Tell me one thing, Zaka. There are more than 17,000 BLNs that the Congress has in Bihar. And after the draft roll was published, Congress party has not filed a single appeal.
Okay.
Not even one appeal.
So Maima saying, now, number one, none of your BLOs have filed any appeal. Even the Supreme Court asked this question. Why are the political party representatives not coming forth and saying that these are the problems in the rolls? Number one. Number two, Haryana election got over a year ago. What is the reason for Mr. Gandhi to rake that up now on the eve of the Bihar elections? The BJP says he's simply laying the ground for an excuse for the impending loss in Bihar.
I'm quite amused and amazed at the BJP spokesperson's selective memory loss. You know, she's got a selective memory syndrome because all the examples she's given, she forgot Chandigarh mayor election, where the Supreme Court of India was prompted to say this is broad daylight murder of democracy, and the person sitting there, the receiving officer sitting there, was one of BJP's own office bearers, erstwhile office bearers. Now, need I remind the Panipat Sarpanch election also, Zaka, which months ago the Supreme Court had to intervene and vindicate the person who actually won. And the BJP leader who had been sitting as a Sarpanch for 2.5 years had actually wrongfully taken over that election, and it has now been proved. Now, coming to your question, you're talking about why 1 year has been taken. Have you forgotten, Zaka, that in December 2024, when Punjab Haryana High Court gave a direction to the Election Commission of India saying that please present the evidence, the CCTV footage and the voter rolls to Mahmood Pracha, who was an appellant there, in the due manner, the Election Commission of India, before 6 weeks, rather overnight, within 2 weeks, went on to change the rules of Election Commission of India historically, the rules of Representation of People's Act. So you see, you're talking about why come 1 year
I still am not able to understand how you are drawing two and two together, that aberrations of voter roll means it's being done at the behest of the BJP, it means it's being done to inflate the BJP's vote. How are you making that connection?
Allow me to complete my thought. I just gave you this nuance of the Punjab Haryana High Court. Now, need I remind how the Election Commission of India, after Mahadevpura and Aland press conferences done by the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Shri Rahul Gandhi, went on the massive cover-up operation. The BJP and Election Commission of India are partners in crime here, against the democracy, accused and guilty of
Sanju Verma, see, in Aland, the Congress's contention is the Congress government there at least formed an SIT. In Haryana, you are the ruling party. Why don't you form an SIT and probe the allegations that Mr. Gandhi has raised?
Zaka, now please let me allow my rebuttal. I will start with Hindi की कुछ पंक्तियां. लहजे में बदजुबानी, चेहरे पे नकाब लिए फिरते हैं. जिनके खुद के बही खाते बिगड़े हुए हैं, वो आज मुझसे मेरा हिसाब मांगे फिरते हैं. Let me make one thing very clear. The Supreme Court was quoted on your show, Zaka. The former CJI Chandrachud, former CJI Sanjeev Khanna, and current judge of the Supreme Court, Sudhanshu Dhulia, have said one thing to Rahul Gandhi and to the Congress party when they questioned EVMs. Do not question EVMs and create an atmosphere of fear and confusion in the country.
No, but ma'am, this has nothing to do with EVMs. This is about electoral rolls. It's about the sanctity of the electoral rolls.
Zaka, let me have my say.
Have your say, but please, we're not talking about EVMs today. Yeah.
I am talking about EVMs to tell your audience that Rahul Gandhi has been shifting goalposts because he has lost 3 Lok Sabha elections in a row. He first blamed the EVMs. Now he's come up with this vote chori narrative. And let me tell you what the Supreme Court told Rahul Gandhi when he keeps talking this lie about 2,200 square kilometers being taken over from India by China. The Supreme Court said you would not be a true national because a true national does not make reckless allegations without proof. My limited point is Rahul Gandhi is so frustrated, he's shifting the goalposts, moving from one lie to another in a bid to gain political mileage. He has lost political relevance. He has lost political ground. And he's not seeing the coffee.
I got to leave it at that. Let's see. Like I said, it was particularly curious why this was brought up a year plus later on the eve of the Bihar elections. And two, the contention that Mr. Gandhi made that there was this Brazilian model voted 22 times in 10 different booths. That's been sort of, some holes have been poked in that, with the model herself coming out and saying, forget about voting in Haryana elections, I've not even visited India. That's number one. And number two, two of those set people have said that they voted. They are genuine voters. They have voted. They have voter slips to show. Yes, there may be photo discrepancies. That does raise some questions of the Election Commission officials. How can you allow someone whose photo on the EPIC card or the voter ID card is not the same as the face of the person who's standing in front of you? How was that person led in the booth in the first place? But we'll see how this proceeds further. But I want to move on to the other big story, and that is polling for the first phase of the Bihar Assembly elections concluded today across 121 constituencies in 18 districts. The turnout at 7 p.m. was a little over 64%, and that is a big uptrend from what we saw last time around, which was 56% recorded in the first phase in the 2020 elections. So that figure could go even further up from 64, maybe to 67 or 68%, given that many centers had long queues at the time of poll closing, and the law is that whoever is standing, the last man standing in queue, should be allowed a chance to vote, even if the time deadline passes by. A triangular contest between the BJP-led NDA on the one hand, the RJD-led Mahagathbandhan on the other, and there is, of course, this new player, Prashant Kishore, in the Jan Swaraj Party. The second phase will happen for 122 seats. That's going to be next Tuesday, 11th of November. Campaigning for the second phase continued today with the Prime Minister once again hitting out of the opposition, alleging Jungle Raj had destroyed the state.
फिर 90 का दशक आया और बिहार पर आरजेडी के जंगल राज ने हमला कर दिया और ये बिहार का दुर्भाग्य बन गया। और जंगल राज मतलब कट्टा, क्रूरता, कटुता, कुसंस्कार, करप्शन और कुशासन। एक ही आवाज आ रही है, एक ही आवाज आ रही है। फिर एक बार एनडीए सरकार, फिर एक बार सुशासन सरकार।
The polling percentage was not the only highlight of today. There were a bit of tensions that flared up in Lakhisarai after stones were pelted, reportedly at the convoy of the Deputy Chief Minister and BJP candidate from Lakhisarai, Vijay Kumar Sinha. The incident caused some degree of chaos and confusion there. Security personnel tried to control the situation. The BJP pointed in the direction of the RJD. The RJD has outright rejected that claim. The police at the end of the day have said that there was some angst that the local villagers there had because of the road conditions. There was not necessarily any kind of fisticuffs or any kind of roughing up of the said individual, in this case, the Deputy Chief Minister.
राजद का जादव का गुंडा है, राजद समाज का अच्छे जादव लोग को विजय वोट देने दिया और राजद का गुंडा राज कायम करना चाहता है। इन गुंडों के छाती पर बुलडोजर चलेगा, खोल के विजय सिन्हा उसके छाती पर चलाएगा।
ये तो जंगल राज की पोल खुद ही खुल रही है भाई। सरकार के लोग अगर ये कहें तो इसका मतलब है कि बिहार में जंगल राज तो इसी को कहते हैं ना। शासन प्रशासन तंत्र सारा उनका है, इसके बाद भी कह रहे हैं कि हमला हो रहा है। कानून व्यवस्था चौपट है, कानून व्यवस्था का अंतिम संस्कार कर दिया गया है।
Now, RJD, just before the close of polls, requested all its voters to ensure that they get in line by 5 p.m. and do not budge from there till the time they have cast their votes. The Bharatiya Janata Party is quite upbeat with the turnout. They are interpreting this as a pro-incumbency vote. Their interpretation, especially for the Mahila voters, and anecdotal evidence also suggests that today the women voters were really out in full strength. Now, JDU, I was speaking to JDU, party members, and their assessment is that this is a pro-incumbency vote. The 10,000 rupees that was announced, the Mukhyamantri Mahila Samman Yojana that was announced by the Nitish Kumar government, whereas seed money, entrepreneurship encouraging 10,000 rupees money was being given, that has really worked to get the Mahila out. Now, their calculation also is that even among the Muslim Mahila, even among the Yadav Mahila, 10,000 rupees had a huge sway, and this could dent the RJD's prospect. So that's as far as the ruling combines calculations are concerned. The RJD, on the other hand, feels this is a very tight fight. What happened in Lakhisarai, where the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar got into an altercation with alleged RJD supporters. He has lodged a complaint saying because he was protesting against the polling agents not being allowed to sit, cow dung was hurled at him, slipper was hurled at him. He subsequently lodged a complaint, to which the Election Commission took cognizance, spoke to the DGP, and CC Ganesh Kumar told CNN News 18 that nobody will be spared for taking law in their own hand. On the other side, there was also a video that went viral of an altercation between an RJD MLC and the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, which clearly shows that tempers were flying high. So we'll have to wait and see on the 14th of November who's the real winner. But the numbers definitely suggest that the Mahila and the Yuva have together made voters of Bihar the real winners.
Well, it's not just Bihar that's going to polls. The battle for Jubilee Hills in Hyderabad is heating up as the Congress and the MIM have united for this high-stakes bypoll, which is scheduled on the 11th of November. But while on the campaign trail, Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy has stoked a bit of a controversy when he said that Muslims mean Congress and the Congress means Muslims. He said that Muslims exist because of the Congress and that they would be nothing without the grand old party. Of course, the Congress is now under fire, not only from its own political rivals, whether it's the BRS or the BJP in Telangana, but also from Muslim groups who have opposed this remark, saying, how can the Chief Minister of a state no less say that Muslims are Congress and Congress are Muslims and Muslims in Telangana are only because of the Congress party. The Students' Islamic Organization has demanded a public apology from the Telangana Chief Minister and said that his remark is deeply insulting and divisive in nature, further adding that the strength of a community rests upon its own principles and is not dependent on favor or patronage of political powers. They say the remark is not just politically irresponsible, but also a direct insult to the Muslim community. The students' body also says that the remark exposes feudal and vote bank mindset and reflects the lack of moral values.
राष्ट्रपति जाकिर हुसैन को किसने बनाया? आप लोग सोचो। इसीलिए आज मोहम्मद अजहरुद्दीन को जो मंत्री बनाया, सलमान खुर्शीद जी को जो मंत्री बनाया, आजाद साहब को मंत्री बनाया, अहमद पटेल साहब को बड़े बड़े कुर्सी में बिठाए, ये सब सारे कांग्रेस है तो मुसलमान है, कांग्रेस है तो आपकी इज्जत है। जब कांग्रेस नहीं है, अब कुछ नहीं है।
The Congress party believes that without them there would not be any Muslims. Let me remind the ignorant souls of Congress party that much before the Congress party was ever born, Muslims already had existed in our country and also in the world. हिंदुस्तान एक सेक्युलर स्टेट है, सेक्युलर कंट्री है, बिल्कुल वो सेक्युलर ही रहेगा, चाहे कोई भी कुछ भी कोशिश कर ले।
The Congress is also facing allegations of appeasement in Telangana for more reasons than one. Just a few days ago, former cricketer and Congress leader Mohammad Azharuddin was sworn in as a minister in the Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy's cabinet, after which he was given charge of minority affairs. In June this year, the Telangana government had launched a vigorous campaign to revive Urdu in the state's education system. An advisor to the state government had reiterated the government's commitment to promoting Urdu language and preserving the cultural and educational heritage of the Muslim community. And a few months before that, the Congress government's moves to allow Muslim employees leave during Ramzan sparked controversy, with the BJP accusing the Revanth Reddy government of appeasement politics and calling for equal treatment of all religious groups. And last year, the state government allocated over 3,000 crores in the state budget for the welfare of minorities, an increased allocation of 36%, which was the highest ever for minority welfare since Telangana was created in 2014. But controversies aside, the Jubilee Hills election campaign has descended into a blistering war of words, featuring sharp personal attacks and accusations of secret alliances among the state's top political leaders. But what is that the people of this constituency feel? What is it that the people of Jubilee Hills actually want? CNN News 18's Nery Shah found out.
As polling day draws closer, the AIMIM has announced support for the Congress candidate Naveen Yadav in the bypolls. AIMIM chief Asaduddin Owaisi made the announcement, marking a rare alignment between the two parties.
तेलंगाना में सिर्फ 7 विधानसभा में 1 पार्लियामेंट सीट में लड़ती है, मगर उनको अलग अलग जगह उनको सपोर्ट है, मगर सपोर्ट नहीं, इधर वोट पार्टी के नाम पर मुस्लिम वोट कांग्रेस को नहीं तो बीआरएस को पैसे लेकर बेचना चाहते हैं, बेचते हैं लोग, प्रयास करते बेचने के लिए। अभी इसलिए थोड़ा मुस्लिम जो समुदाय है बीआरएस से और कांग्रेस से जो एमआईएम का व्यवहार देखने के बाद थोड़ा सोच रहे वो लोग।
Whether MIM supports Congress party here and it doesn't support Congress party outside the stage shows their double standards.
It's important to note that Jubilee Hills has a total of 3.99 lakh voters, of which around 1.3 lakh are minority voters. The BJP and BRS have questioned AIMIM support to the Congress, pointing out that both parties contest against each other in states like Bihar, where the Congress has often called AIMIM the B team of BJP. The Congress has downplayed the alignment, comparing it to other complex political arrangements like the one with TMC, and maintained that AIMIM is only endorsing the Congress candidate locally.
आप ही का बयान है, बिहार में आपने बोला था MIM is a B team of BJP.
वो वहाँ का बयान है,
पर यहाँ पे रूल अलग क्यों सर? फिर
कांग्रेस के खिलाफ जो भी अपोजिशन में ठहरेगा हम उसको उनके पुराने चीज़ें हम बताएंगे कि क्या हुआ बोल के। अब मैं ये ज़मीन तेलंगाना की है, यहाँ वो हमारी मदद कर रहे हैं, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता।
The escalating political battle saw a major move by the Congress when the party inducted former cricketer Mohammad Azharuddin as the Minority Welfare Minister. This step quickly sparked a backlash from the BJP, which accused Congress of using minority appeasement politics to secure victory in the bypoll.
With minority voters in large number in Jubilee Hills, how confident is the Congress party this time for a
Congress party is very confident, always confident. We are working very hard. All the ministers, everybody is working towards this very prestigious election, by-election. And hopefully, inshallah, we will definitely prevail over BRS and BJP.
But on ground, the story is entirely different. Speaking to CNN News 18, Jubilee Hills residents highlighted persistent civic issues, specifically faulty drainage, bad roads and sporadic power, complaining that every election brings the same unfulfilled pledges from politicians across the spectrum. Residents added that even if AIMIM and Congress contest together, it would make little difference unless development actually takes place.
45 years के बाद में डेनिश लाइन गिरा अभी, और जीएचएमसी का भी कोई भी आके झाड़ू मारता नहीं, करता नहीं, कोई भी आते नहीं, खाली इलेक्शंस के टाइम पे यहाँ पे दिखते हैं।
कोई यहाँ पे इश्यूज क्या है मेन?
कोई भी इश्यूज कुछ भी करने वाला कुछ भी नहीं, खाली दिखावा है, आके जाते उतना ही।
सिर्फ इलेक्शन के टाइम पे
इलेक्शन टाइम पे दिखते सब जने, कोई भी कुछ भी नहीं करता। कहाँ का वही है, वही ड्रेनेज प्रॉब्लम है और करंट का मेन इश्यू है।
आम पब्लिक को विकास चाहिए। विकास में क्या है, यहाँ की ड्रेनेज व्यवस्था जो है वो सबसे बदतर है। गलियों में पूरा ड्रेनेज का कीचड़ आ रहा, मेन रोड पे कीचड़ आ रहा, 12 मास वो आगे दुकानों के आगे पूरा कीचड़ चढ़ता ही रहता है।
The Jubilee Hills bypolls have become a crucial, aggressively contested fight among the three major parties, BRS, BJP and Congress. The outcome of the election remains highly anticipated.
With Jubilee Hills by-elections just around the corner as Jubilee Hills goes to polls on the 11th of November, it's a high-stake battle between the BRS, BJP and the Congress, where we see that opposition parties continue to hit out at the Congress government for not implementing the promises which they had made during the elections, while the Congress party hits out at the 10 years of rule of the BRS and not doing any sort of development works in the Jubilee Hills constituency. But now what we see is in the Jubilee Hills by-elections is that a major development where MIM has extended its support to the Congress party, while we see that Congress and MIM usually contest against each other in other states. But MIM extending its support to the Congress party has now raised a lot of eyebrows, and also at the same time the BJP continues to question the appeasement politics which is being done by the Congress party, as Jubilee Hills constituency has a large number of minority voters. Well, now it all remains to be seen which way will this battle be going ahead, and as the campaigning is coming around the corner and massive campaigning is being done, we'll have to see the people of Jubilee Hills votes for whom and who will come to power in Jubilee Hills by-elections. This is Larissa Nery with video journalist Venkatesh for CNN News 18.
Now, what started off as routine repairs turned into an alleged multi-crore theft because of blatant negligence and unchecked power. We're talking about the Sabarimala gold theft case, in which the Kerala High Court's glaring observations, even yesterday, having sparked some big questions on accountability. The case pertains to inconsistencies in the repair of the main door, or the Dwarapalaga as it's known, in Sabarimala, which led to the misappropriation of 4.5 kilograms of gold, which is worth over 55 crore rupees. The bench of the Kerala High Court exposed how prime accused Unnikrishnan Poti and his cronies were handed unfettered control of this process, a process that should have been tightly supervised by the temple department, the Devaswam board. The question is, how did it go unchecked for so many years? The court also noted that the primary accused, Unnikrishnan Poti, got permission to carry out repairs despite the temple manual demanding strict oversight. What is even more alarming is that the crucial board order which allowed the repair and the gold plating is not even recorded in the minutes of the meeting of the Devaswam board. In fact, the book was only updated till July 28th with irregular and incomplete entries. Now, all of these revelations have now forced the Pinarayi Vijayan government in Kerala to take action. The left front, which is now under fire, is expected to remove Mr. P.S. Prashant, who is the head of the Travancore Devaswam board. He's the president of the board. Amid all of these mounting questions from the High Court, it looks like Mr. P.S. Prashant will be made the scapegoat or the fall guy for this. Earlier, Prashant's tenure was to be extended. His tenure was to get over at some point this month, maybe on the 10th or 12th of this month, as the TDB's president. He was expected to get an extension, but this controversy around the gold theft has now blocked that extension. A new name is likely to be announced tomorrow after the CPM State Secretariat meeting. And as per sources, the new president is likely to be from the Irava community.
After considering the second investigation progress report submitted by SIT, Kerala High Court has said that Unnikrishnan Poti and his associates had unrestricted access at Sabarimala given by complicit officials, and they were enabled to take measurements and fabricate replicas of sacred temple artifacts. The court went on to say that such replicas could be sold internationally at very high rates, and this is a known modus operandi of many international smugglers dealing with temple art. The court also said that the minutes book of the Travancore Devaswam board was not maintained properly. There are several discrepancies. Went on to say that the 2025 order allowing to take out these sacred items out of the temple was not recorded in the minutes book. The court has also asked the SIT to look into whether the provisions under the Prevention of Corruption Act can be charged against these Devaswam board officials. The court had earlier also asked the SIT to look into the criminal conspiracy and also look into whether anyone from the top officials of the Devaswam board is involved in this. And ever since the court has made these observations from the last verdict, the present Devaswam board has also been under the scanner. There has been demand for the resignation of the Travancore Devaswam board president from both the Congress and the BJP, but they had kept saying that all this happened not during their tenure but in 2019. Now, the term of the present Devaswam board president P.S. Prashant will end on November 10th. What we are understanding through sources is that due to these controversies, he might not get an extension of his tenure.
Zoran Mamdani has been elected as the first Indian American and Muslim mayor of New York, and straight away, President Donald Trump and his friends and allies have started attacking Mamdani as loony and crazy, jihadi, even a communist. Trump has already called Mamdani the future leader of the Democratic Party. Now, this politically helps Trump because it helps him to paint the Democrats and Mamdani as extreme, and thereby, in contrast, himself and his eccentric policies as the normal. But while this elevates Mamdani to a national role, a national profile, if you will, does it help him being seen as wrestling in the mud with the president, trolling the president? After all, Mamdani needs Trump and his federal funds as much as Trump needs a working relationship with a man who is at the helm of his hometown. US President Donald Trump watched the election of a man who he has dubbed as a dangerous communist as the mayor of New York City. For weeks now, President Trump and his allies have tried to disparage Zoran Mamdani as an extremist and a communist and a danger to New York City. But they were not able to stop the 34-year-old from becoming the first Muslim and first South Asian mayor of New York, and also one of the youngest mayors of New York City. And now, the two men, who are aged 34 and 78, appear to be headed for a showdown, pitting the young democratic socialist against a president who has already treated him as a bit of a useful foil. For Donald Trump, Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani is the face of the Democratic opposition. Just hours after Mamdani's improbable victory, the president said the Democrats were crazy. He painted Mamdani as the future leader of the Democratic Party, something which helps him position Mamdani as a useful idiot.
Then a guy comes along, ping, ping. This is these people are crazy. And Mamdani, whatever the hell his name is in New York, no. He thinks it's wonderful to have men playing in women's sports.
Trump's aides and allies acknowledged that Mamdani and New York City are likely to be the next targets of President Trump's attacks. But some also caution that Trump has a vested interest in New York's financial success because of his multiple real estate holdings in the city. The city underpins the Trump family business empire. And yet, President Trump has already threatened that he's going to withdraw federal money other than the very minimum that's required for New York City. Although legally, no president can hold back money which Congress has authorized to any state or city for that matter. When the administration has tried to withhold federal funds from cities over immigration or any other policy, it has consistently lost in court. Zoran Mamdani, for his part, also seems ready for that fight with Donald Trump. In his victory speech, he challenged Trump directly. He vowed to fight back against any federal effort that is made to meddle in New York's affairs. He even referred directly to Trump in his victory speech, asking him to turn the volume up.
If anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him. And if there is any way to terrify a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Mamdani also said that he will not be cowed down by President Trump's threats and that New York City would actually become the playbook for how to defeat Trump and his MAGA political movement nationally. Mamdani, though, has very few levers to fight back against the Trump administration other than going to court. The mayor-elect has vowed to hire 200 additional lawyers to the city's legal department, partly to stand up to what he calls presidential excess. In his second term, President Trump has repeatedly shown his willingness, some would say even eagerness, to use the levers of the federal government to exact revenge on his opponents. He's already cut billions of dollars of federal grants to states and cities run by Democrats, including New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. He's also sent the National Guard to Democratic-run cities against their wishes. And he has instructed the Justice Department to prosecute his political opponents, including an Attorney General in New York. But there is a catch here. Mamdani's victory could prove useful to Trump. It could allow Trump to replicate a playbook that he has long deployed in order to demonize Democratic leaders. And the list of those Democrat leaders are long, from former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi to New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez to Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, even Hillary Clinton, who was the Democratic senator from New York and the presidential challenger in 2016 who Trump beat. He has painted all of these Democrats as loony and crazy and extremist, only to further his political agenda. Since Zoran Mamdani won this surprise victory in the Democratic primary back in June, Trump and his allies have tagged Mamdani as the future of the Democratic Party. He's used this to appeal to his MAGA base in Middle America in a bid to show that Trump is the normal and Mamdani is the deviant. And the first issue of the showdown between Trump and Mamdani has been on the rights of transgenders. Mamdani has promised to defend the rights of transgender New Yorkers and to make New York City a sanctuary city for LGBTQ residents. Trump, on the other hand, has already said that Mamdani wants to allow transgenders into women's sport. For Mamdani, he needs to be careful not to get into a trolling contest with Donald Trump. That may not be a particularly politically valuable thing to do, but he needs to also at the same time come across as standing firm against Trump where it is essential, where it is seen that Trump is waging a war against the city. So where necessary, he has to come across as standing up to the bully, but not get down into the mud and be seen as wrestling with the president. The question though is, and this is a balancing act, how do you on the one hand challenge President Trump and at the same time leave room for the idea that Mamdani is going to be a mayor for all New Yorkers, including those New Yorkers who are Trump supporters who did not vote for him. Trump, who's born and raised in New York, is deeply concerned about the affairs of the city and how it's run. His advisors have tried to meddle in the race to try and sink Mamdani's chances, but they were unsuccessful. Trump even gave a last-minute endorsement to Mamdani's challenger Andrew Cuomo, but even that could not stop him. Now, after the victory, some of the president's friends from New York are encouraging him to take a more diplomatic approach to the city and its new mayor. They've advised him not to hold back money that would help New York. They're also advising the president against sending the military into the city, like he's done in the past with Los Angeles, with Chicago, and Washington, D.C. Trump versus Mamdani could be the next big showdown in America, one whose ramifications will go well beyond the city that they both call home, New York. So leave aside, how Trump is positioning Mamdani and this future showdown, this future fight between Trump and Mamdani, which of course suits both their politics. But I want to talk a little bit about how Mamdani is viewed here in India, as well as, of course, in the Indian American community back in the US. It depends on who you speak to. I want to go across to Sadanand Dhume. He's a senior fellow with the American Enterprise Institute and also columnist with the Wall Street Journal. Thanks very much, Sadanand, for speaking with us. There's sort of this love-hate, if I can use that phrase, when it comes to Zoran Mamdani here in India, especially you scour social media. There are either people who say he's like this beacon of progressivism, he's talking about the right things, the right causes, etc. And then you have this nationalistic crowd, the crowd that's usually BJP supporters or Modi supporters who just can't stand the sight of him. How does one explain this?
Well, Zaka, we live in a time where politics is just so polarizing, right? And social media tends to exacerbate that. So it shouldn't be surprising that Zoran Mamdani is a polarizing figure. He's obviously a polarizing figure not only in India, but also in the United States, right? Again, in sort of similar terms, you have some people who see him as, this necessary corrective to U.S. politics, someone who's going to, bring in freshness and youth and energy and diversity and so on. And you have other people who view his ideas, including myself, particularly his economic ideas, as backward, stale, tried, and almost certain to fail. I think in the Indian context is very interesting because what we have not seen before is a mainstream American politician who is so deeply interested in and in fact, quite knowledgeable about Indian politics, but also quite partisan. So it's a tricky thing for India to negotiate because this guy, first of all, he obviously has roots in India, even though he himself was born in Uganda. But he's also very clearly taken a side, right? And he has said very clearly that he is sympathetic with the India of the Congress Party, the India of Jawaharlal Nehru, and so on, which sets him up in a kind of on a collision course with Prime Minister Modi and the BJP. Personally, my own view is that in terms of diplomacy, it would be smart for India to reach out to him because already relations are quite bad with the MAGA side. And I think that it would not be very smart to have a very bad relationship with, one of the most powerful voices on the American left as well. But I do think that Mamdani himself should also, needs to temper himself, right? Because now he's in office. It's an important office. And he needs to understand that Indian politics is very complex. And he can't have this cartoonish view of it like a sophomore in some college campus, and he has to be more responsible with his words, I hope, going ahead.
You look at the sort of arc of Indian American politicians, and I go back to people like Bobby Jindal, Nikki Haley, even Kamala Harris last year when she ran. Whether you were Republican or Democrat, if you were Indian American, you generally tended to sort of support the Indian American candidate. Again, here in India, whether you were a BJP supporter or a Congress supporter, you generally, an Indian American politician was always held up as, oh, here's an example of, an Indian going abroad and doing well, entrepreneurship or academics or in this case, politics. But in the case of Mamdani, that's not quite how it is. It's again, very starkly, as you said, deeply divided depending on who you speak to and what their political affiliations are. How is the Indian American community viewing Mamdani?
I think sort of similarly, right? I think you do have a great deal of support for him in the Indian American community. You saw many people, who were at his victory speech, for example. I think a lot of people have been, just touched by by a lot of the symbolism, right? People recognize Meera Nair. She's there, like with him in a sari. They're playing this Bollywood song to sort of close it all out. The fact that he's kind of, unapologetic about his cultural roots, I think a lot of people appreciate that, and they find, they find that welcome to people of all faiths quite heartwarming. There is a faction that doesn't like him, and I think that would probably be the people who are most closely associated, with the BJP and the politics of the BJP. And in fairness, it's that that cuts both ways. It's not as though they started out wanting to dislike him, but he himself has, over the years, long before he became a prominent figure, he's very clearly staked out a position in terms of Indian domestic politics. So, for example, if you go back years ago, he was tweeting about the CPM mayor of Trivandrum, of Thiruvananthapuram, and he's read out the letters of Umar Khalid. So he's there. He's a type, and he's a type that we recognize in India. We're just not used to having that guy in the mayor's mansion in New York City. And so he's obviously been he's obviously a polarizing figure among the Indian diaspora. Also, many people have take pride in him, but many people also can't stand him.
But the timing of it is also quite curious, I think, because what you said, unapologetic and unabashed about who he is, what his different identities are, at a time when just a few days ago we saw the Vice President of the United States, who's married to an Indian American, sort of denounce, if not denounce, but certainly say that he hopes that his wife, converts to Christianity at some point. And he got a lot of flack for it. And there is this rising sort of anti-Indian immigrant sentiment in the MAGA crowd. So at a time such as this, for an unapologetic, unabashed Muslim South Asian person to be elected mayor of New York, how does that square off?
I mean, you're absolutely right, Zach, but you have to keep one thing in mind, that the demographics of New York City are not the demographics of the United States. I think that, if Zoran Mamdani was trying to run for national office, or if he was trying to do what Vivek Ramaswamy is trying to do and run for, governor of Ohio, it'd be very different. I mean, New York is the most cosmopolitan city. It's the most multicultural city. It's the most religiously diverse city. So, it's a little bit like if someone runs for, student union of JNU, that's not really the same as running for office in Uttar Pradesh. Yeah. So I think it's kind of similar. So he has, I mean, all those things, the way you described him, it's all correct. But you have to understand that New York is a very particular petri dish that allows the politics of someone like Zoran Mamdani in a way that the rest of the country would not permit.
All right, Siddharth Dume, we'll leave it at that. Thank you very much. Fascinating, covering and tracking this man and his incredible political journey. I mean, a year ago, nobody would have given him a chance to win this race, and now here he is in the mayor's mansion, or at least.
Thanks for having me, Zaka.
Yeah, thanks, Siddharth. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Co-presented by This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
We now have some more information that's trickling in, and this is an altercation that took place, a street-side argument between RJD MLC Ajay Kumar Singh and the Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Vijay Kumar Sinha, that was caught on camera. There is a public spat that can be seen even as that RJD MLC gets into his vehicle. Vijay Kumar Sinha is standing right in front of his vehicle. There is high drama that ensues there. This is right after the incident of the stone pelting of the attack on the convoy of Vijay Kumar Sinha earlier this afternoon.
लगा दिया, सामने में रोक दिए। वो आरजेडी का एमएलसी है, दारू पिए हुए है, मुंह बकबक महक रहा है, अनाप शनाप बक रहा है। नदियामा में गया था बूथ कब्जा करने, पता चला कि हम लोग आ रहे हैं तो भाग रहा था।
तो क्या वो आप गाड़ी अचानक से आके लगा दी गई, क्या आपको रोकने की कोशिश की जा रही?
वो सामने में लगा दिया, गाड़ी रुक गई। अब टक्कर तो नहीं मारते हम लोग।
कैसा लगा अभी चुनाव इधर नदियामा में, कैसे चुनाव हो रहा?
वो बूथ कब्जा करने गया था सुजीत कुमार और ये एमएलसी है आरजेडी का अजय कुमार।
अभी आप लोग जा रहे हैं
नदियामा जा रहे हैं। वही फोन किया था, वहीं से तो खुड़ियारी से ही तो आ रहे हैं भागे भागे। क्या है गाड़ी लगा दिया, सामने में रोक दिए। वो आरजेडी का एमएलसी है, दारू पिए हुए है, मुंह बकबक महक रहा है।
Payal, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details. Payal, this drama is only escalating with each passing minute. We saw the kind of protest that was faced by Vijay Kumar Sinha where his convoy was attacked, and then this altercation, a public street-side spat between him and an RJD MLC.
Well, absolutely. This is not coming to an end because, you know, the altercation continues and the war of words continues between the BJP and the RJD over here. Vijay Kumar Sinha clearly saying that, you know, the person concerned over the MLC from the RJD was in a drunken state, and that is the reason he was, you know, speaking to him in such a manner as well. It will be important to see how the Election Commissioner Poonam now takes cognizance of the entire matter, because the complaint has already been filed and nobody will be allowed to take law in their own hands. That's the instruction coming from the Chief Election Commissioner. But, you know, this is actually turning out to be quite an episode as far as the entire day is concerned. Although most part of the state was completely peaceful, that we've seen the elections have been done in a peaceful manner, but this altercation, this war of words between Vijay Kumar Sinha and the RJD really continues till the fag end of the voting.
And the voting is going to close in about an hour's time or so, but we're also talking about the law and order situation in this particular case. You know, Jungle Raj is something that the Prime Minister also did speak of, trying to put the Mahagathbandhan in the spot. But when instances like this come to the fore, that's something that the BJP would probably be on the back foot as well, isn't it?
Well, the BJP has been arguing that this is not a law and order situation. This is a situation of a hooliganism, a kind of a behavior by the RJD, and that is why it cannot be called as a law and order situation. It is, of course, a rivalry between two sides, two political sides as well. And the BJP says that no way on earth can you compare what Jungle Raj, Lalu Prasad Yadav and his party put the state of Bihar through. This is, of course, an issue, and, you know, the BJP has also been arguing that during the election, the administration reports to the Election Commission of India, so they will be in a better position to really understand. But you are blocking somebody from voting, then the other person coming and putting his car in front of somebody else's car. This is certainly something which could have really been avoided. What will be important to see what the Election Commission really does, because the BJP has demanded for cancelling the election in this particular area.
Payal, do stay on with us. We heard what Vijay Kumar Sinha had to say, but let's listen into what the RJD MLC had to say in response to when questioned what exactly transpired during that public spat.
इन्होंने हमारी गाड़ी को रोका और गुंडे पर उतर आए। इनका चुनाव हार गए इसीलिए बौखलाहट है। चुनाव हार गए इसीलिए बौखलाहट हो गया। विजय सिन्हा का इस बार चैप्टर क्लोज।
अटैक हुआ जिस तरह से,
कहीं अटैक नहीं हुआ। नाटक कई दिन से करवाना चाह रहे थे, बैकवर्ड फॉरवर्ड लिस्ट डेट करवाना चाह रहे थे, कहीं कुछ नहीं बात है।
चुनाव हो रहा है,
चुनाव एकदम कांग्रेस प्रत्याशी अनीश कुमार जीत गए।
कौन जीता?
अनीश कुमार जीत गए।
Arunima also joins us, getting us more perspective on it. Arunima, as far as this latest instance is concerned, this public altercation by the roadside between Vijay Kumar Sinha and the RJD MLC, it seems like a he said, she said sort of a situation, because both sides are blaming the other for being the provocateur.
Viewers, what a day it has been for the Congress party. Its scion yesterday came out and hit a few sixes out of the park, as he claims, by suggesting that in this country, not just votes, but entire governments were being stolen. Sarkar Chori, he called it. Well, viewers, since then, the Congress's so-called H-bomb, hydrogen bomb, as Rahul Gandhi refers to it, is in danger of appearing less like a political explosion and more like an F-bomb, a fake bomb, a full-blown fake detonated for headlines. Rahul Gandhi marched out with dramatic claims, as I told you yesterday, of vote chori, ghost voters, an election system rigged by the BJP and the Election Commission. That's what he said. And he said it with such elan, viewers, spinning around and turning to the big screen behind him.